Continuing our journey here of moving up the level of structural organization. Remember, we started at chemistry with our macromolecules, then we went up to cells and then tissues. And now we're going to talk about tissues itself. So this is our third level of structural organization. Tissues are made of similar cells in a group and they function together. And we've got four major tissue types: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. And we're going to come back to those last two, to muscle and nervous tissue, because they have a whole system about them, the muscular and the nervous systems respectively. So for now, let's focus on epithelial and connective tissue. Epithelial tissues are the coverings of things. They make up the top part of our skin, the linings of our organs. They function as barriers, things that we need in those organs, things like mucus, for example. In some areas, like in our lungs, this tissue works as a fast diffusion barrier. And in places like our reproductive organs, this tissue can help form little hairs that move particles along, things like our eggs, through our reproductive tract. We classify epithelial tissue by first the shape of the cell. Is it squamous cell, so is it flat? Is it cuboidal, like a cube, or columnar, like a column? And then classified by the number of layers of cells. Simple for one layer, stratified for more than one layer. When we function here, remember a larger cell, a cuboidal or a columnar cell, this is more volume. And so it has more space to do things like make all the mucus we need to secrete. So you're going to see those cells in areas where the function is secretion or absorption, for example. The thin cells, if we only have one layer, so a simple squamous tissue, this is going to be where things need to move quickly through that cell. So in places like our lungs, where we need to move air very, very quickly, we have to breathe, we're only going to have a simple squamous cell. We want that air to just kind of pass on by. We use lots of layers of those thin cells in areas where we're going to lose a lot of cells, areas where the function is more protection. So places like our skin and in our mouth, where we're areas of high friction, we're constantly losing, wearing away cells. We want to have lots of layers, stratified, and we want those cells to be very thin and easy to make so we can replace them pretty quickly. Connective tissue, our second tissue type, is a lot more diverse. Connective tissue is made of cells that have a lot of stuff on the outside. So these are cells with a lot of extracellular matrix, and we call that ground substance. So it's extracellular matrix with a lot of water held in it. And these cells also have lots of fibers made out of proteins on the outside. And different connective tissues have different ratios of ground substance and fibers to cells, that they can either be very, very dense or they can be more loose. But connective tissue is classified into three main groups: proper connective tissue, supportive tissue, and fluid tissue. The weirdest group is the fluid group, specifically blood. Here, you might think, wait a minute, how is that connective tissue? Where are the fibers? It's a fluid, it's just blood. Here, the fibers are not really visible until that fluid needs to clot, and then you're going to start to see fibers formed. It was mainly put in this group, I think, because they didn't want to create another group for it, and it's clearly not epithelial or nervous or muscle, so I guess we'll just put it in connective, the miscellaneous category. Tissues are going to come together to form organs, which are defined structures with two or more tissue types working together. So we're going to move up to the level and look at organ systems, and we're going to start with our integumentary system, or our skin.